in order for IoT systems to proliferate. And what is about security? Why do we need security? So the key question that has been bugging me was, okay, why do I want to talk about security? But it's really because security is a cornerstone of trust. In order for IoT systems to proliferate, you need trust. And for trust to happen, you need security. Let me draw a very high-level analogy. Why do you put money in a bank? Why do you trust the bank? Because you know, by putting your money in a bank, they have put in physical protection on their premises. They have systems in place. They have a lot of surveillance systems in place and safeguards to protect the assets that you trust them with, right? So therein lies the importance of security. So therein lies the importance of having security. So likewise, for IoT systems, in order for IoT systems to grow, to proliferate, for the ecosystem to flourish, security has to be in place. Okay? So before I go further, I just want to give a very quick introduction about Infineon, the company that I work for. Okay, so Infineon, actually, we are a German company. We're headquartered out of Munich. And we have 40,000 employees worldwide today, of which close to half are actually hired out of Asia Pacific. We do have premises or offices in India as well, in Bangalore and in Delhi, okay, with a sales and R&D office as well. And we are, in terms of the business, we are actually divided into 4 different divisions. We have automotive, industrial power, power management for consumer electronics, for instance, and digital security. And for myself, I actually come from the digital security team. Okay? So in terms of market position, I'm very proud to say that even though the digital security team may look very small on this pie chart, we are actually the market leader in terms of security ICs and solutions that we provide. Okay, so enough of this introduction. Let me dive into the topic. IoT is now. IoT is here. We hear a lot of talks about IoT, how big this business is. Is it really now? I started to ask myself, okay, where can I find evidence of that IoT is really happening now? And just the other day, somebody showed me a link to say that, hey, you know what? Your power tools, the hand drills out there, is actually connected to a cloud. And I was stumped. I was really stumped. Power tools are really your very traditional equipment, right? Your hand drills, your power tools. And for them to embark on a journey towards adding a cloud, that tells you something is happening. That tells you that IoT is really happening now. Okay? And with that power tools, actually, they are actually allowing you to remotely access or monitor the whereabouts of these power tools, doing certain configurations and things like that. And you would never imagine this coming from a very traditional business of a power tool. Okay? So let me dive into the details of IoT. IoT, Internet of Things. So a very high level architecture of how an IoT system will look like will be, first you will have IoT devices and end nodes. And these devices and nodes, it could be your smart home appliance, it could be your street lights, it could be your computers, your robotics, your lamps at home, for instance. And they're all sending information out to the cloud, okay? Some information to the cloud. And this information can then be processed and through machine learning or through AI, and then they can be made meaningful to the user of this data. Okay? So it is the intelligence of the devices that makes IoT IoT. Okay? It's not just putting a connectivity and then you call it IoT. No. It is actually adding that level of intelligence to the devices that makes IoT a fruitful endeavor. So in terms of the things itself, how do you make them intelligent? Is by adding sensors, actuators, and these sensors and actuators, they're actually collecting information. And then the information that's collected is then sent over the communication infrastructure. Okay, it could be Wi-Fi, it could be Bluetooth, Zigbee, whatever, it doesn't matter. It sends over the communication infrastructure to a backend where deep learning is happening. Data is processed. It could also be happening at the edge level. We call that at the fog computing, right? So some data, because if you're sending all sorts of data to the cloud, one day the cloud will go bust. Yeah, it's too much data. So what's happening right now is also you can do certain processing of the data that's being transmitted at the edge level or at the fog level before it goes up to the cloud. So having said that, IoT systems now, you can see that they're connected. They're sending information to the cloud. Thus, they can be hacked also. They can be attacked to various attack vectors and surfaces. So what are the ways in which you see IoT systems being attacked? For instance, device identity. Remember, I started the discussion about how trust is very important in the whole IoT ecosystem. Your device identity, basically, you, who are you? What device are you? This has to be protected because for the cloud to be able to understand or to use your information, he has to trust that this device is a legitimate device. It's not a fake device out there sending information to him. Second, device integrity attacks. The device itself could have its configuration changed by malware, by some hackers. How do you protect that? How do you protect that the information that is sent over by this legitimate device is protected, the data integrity stays? Okay. Third, life cycle attacks. Again, you could have a legitimate device, but what happens is that if you don't protect it with the right level of security, you could actually invite hackers to install malware, Trojan horses, whatsoever, into your device. And we have seen many examples of this happening in the last few years. You look at all those DDoS attacks that's happening on IP cameras, on even DVDRs, many things. They're actually using innocuous devices out there that you will use, you buy and install at home. And what happens is that typically these devices, they have a password, but many users do not know of these passwords. They don't change these passwords. So what happens is that the hackers, they run through Google, they search, okay, what is the master password for this particular class of device? Then they get access to this device, and they actually install malware into this device and actually cause a botnet attack. So we have seen ransomware, we have seen the DDoS attacks happening in the last few years, and I can tell you, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to become more and more frequent when devices become connected.